Hi, I'm Doug Taylor from Harford Greenhouses. So I'm just going to run through some of the things that are important to the building of the little greenhouse, try and make it easier for you people to install. On most greenhouses we use a timber wooden peg, which are supplied with the greenhouses. In this particular case today, we're not doing that. The clients are using gay-bend baskets to hold it down with the timber on the top, but we'll go through that later on. So when you receive the greenhouse has the two ends already put together. In this particular case, this greenhouse has a door at each end. In some cases, there's only a door at one end. It depends on what you've ordered. So there's two 100mm nails, which will get nailed into the end to hold the base to the end, slightly offsetting because you've got the pipe going into that top of that timber. And now I'm going to put the gang nail plate around the corner that holds the corner together. So using the 75mm nails, we'll put the corner block in, because as you'll see, it's nice and straight along there and also nice and straight along here. So it gives you a square corner. What we've just shown you is to be repeated on all four corners. We're going to put some pegs in. So in this particular greenhouse, being 6 metres long, we would put 6 pegs in, 3 on each side. As on your drawings you will see the locations of the rest of the pegs. You put the peg so it's flush up against the side of the 100x50 timber on the inside of the greenhouse and drive the peg in. So it ends up being flush with the top of the 100x50. Then you take some 75mm nails and put 2 in, one on a 45-degree angle of one another. At the end of the day, it's very important that you put the pegs in because you want to stop any uplift that's going to happen when the covers are on. If you're in a high wind area, you need to use a waratah. I would suggest you get a waratah that's 1.8 metres long, cut it in half and drive it in on an angle and then screw it off using a tech screw, simply because it just stops any movement that you're going to have with the greenhouse. So when you're putting these hoops in place, you need to make sure that you don't turn them around. They need to be on the same way that they arrived, strapped to the end wall. So this piece here needs to slide onto the second hoop in on the end. And this here takes the ridge brace at the very top of the greenhouse. So it has to slide over the hoop and then pop the hoop into there. Then this here comes up, over, and sits in the middle. The one that's sitting above me will match up with the one on the very end of the greenhouse. And this is the piece of steel that that loops into these here and that end with the frame guard tape facing upwards. And that protects the plastic from the galvanised steel. So we've slid this bit of 25x25 into the bit of 20x20. We'll apply a screw to the underside of it so it doesn't interfere with the plastic. So that stops it from falling out. So you've got to do this at both ends. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take the frame of the round pipe away from the actual roof vent itself, so we can put the frame into the actual greenhouse. The roof vent itself will go on once the plastic is on the greenhouse. So we just have to undo these bolts, in the 10mm bolts. So there's 4 of these to do. And also the other thing we do is we'll take the bolts out of the end, the M6x40 bolts, take them out, then these will slide over the hoops themselves. So now we'll put the vent into the roof between the 2 roof braces. So now we'll just tighten those up a little bit, enough so we can still move the vent because we need to centralise the vent and the 2 end roof braces. So that is now positioned, the roof brace and the roof vent in the central part of the end vents, so they all line up nice and straight. So I've just marked to make sure that the roof braces and the ridge vent stay in the correct place and are nice and straight. So these now can be done up, and as that pulls it through, it will sandwich it close up to the hoop itself and stops that vent from moving anywhere. And we'll do the same to the other end. Next thing we need to do is put the 25 by 25 braces in the sides. They've got pre-drilled holes on them which should line up with the hoops. It's got frame guard tape on it. So the frame guard tape faces to the outside of the greenhouse. Again, this protects the plastic from the galvanised steel. When we're putting these 25 by 25 along the length of the greenhouse, we need to measure from the base down here up to the underside of where the brace has got to go, and the measurement for this particular one is 990 millimetres. So you just go along and measure at the same distance and just mark it on the hoop. Using the 45 millimetre Tech screws, we can put them in place. So first of all, I'll screw off the end, do the opposite end, and I should be able to come along with the 45 millimetre screw, lift it up to the mark, put the screw through and fill it off. So that's one in place. So we repeat that for the next one. Frame guard tape sitting to the outside of the greenhouse. Right, now all the purlins are in place, we can move on to starting to cover the greenhouse. If we need to take the doors themselves out, this helps. We actually physically cover the door when it's not on the greenhouse. It makes it a lot easier and get the plastic a lot tighter. And also we need to cut out the holes for the doors without the doors in them. So part of the door, we have a door handle. So that door handle has a bolt that goes right through, drilled through the centre frame, and it has a locking nut on it, which you put on once you've got the door covered. So what we need to do is we need to take that locking nut off and undo the side of the door handle and just put them back together. In the meantime, you don't lose any parts. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put some frame guard tape on the central bar across the door. Now that obviously is to protect the plastic. When we put plastic on the door, it will protect the plastic from the steel frame. The frame guard tape, so it comes in a 20 millimetre wide roll. So what you do is you peel the back off it, open it out, you just put it across onto the centre of the round pipe and just run your hand along there like so and take it up to within 10 mil of this hole and just cut it off. This has got a C-clip that goes over it, C-clip, that's all that part is held on, the plastic's held on with C-clip, so you don't need frame guard tape on it. The other part of the greenhouse that needs frame guard tape on it are the ends and also the hoops. Okay, so starting from one side, again take the backing off it, pull it down to the top of the timber and stick it onto the centre of the hoop and just slowly peel it back and run your hand nicely over the top of it. The one other part that we need to just protect the plastic in the frame is where the bolts go through to hold the roof vent on. So the easiest thing to do is just get some 20 mil tape and just put a piece over the top of there, down, cut it off underneath and fold it around. Just gives some protection. So I'd be putting 2 on for this. Let's go over, around, cut it off, and it covers up any areas. So you do it for both sides. And obviously you do it for both ends. The last part of the frame guard tape that needs to go into the greenhouse is on the ends. So if we have a look on the ends where the doors are, there's a bar that goes right across to the outside of the hoop on both sides. So we're just going to run the frame guard tape from the centre again, across. So what this is doing is it's protecting the plastic from the frame. Again, we just cut it off like so. You do not need frame guard tape on the end hoops because there's a capping that goes over those hoops and the sunlight doesn't get to that part of the greenhouse. So you don't need to put frame guard tape on the ends, on the two end hoops. We're up to putting the roof cover on. With this particular greenhouse being 6 metres long and 3.5 metres wide, we're using a cover size of 7.1 by 7 metres long. So that gives you a 500mm excess over each end of the greenhouse for a bit of give and take. So that's the edge of the plastic. So we're going to pull that piece of plastic over the hoop of the greenhouse. Now the best day to be doing this sort of thing is no wind and with some sun so we can get a bit of heat in the plastic. But as you'll probably see with the filming, that we have a little bit of wind and we have no sun. You just have to bear with us a little bit. So you pull the plastic down as far as we can till the other part on the other side is about 100mm away from the bottom of the clip lock line. We're now about to clip the plastic into the clipping system that's on one side of the greenhouse. So you have the aluminium base, single base, which is sitting here, and then you have the insert, which sits inside it. It clips in. And the best thing to do is to get the clip lock insert flush with the end of the greenhouse, because the greenhouse is 6 metres long and the insert is 3 metres, so it will set you up so it's right in the centre of the greenhouse. So you'll notice that I haven't touched the back edge of the plastic. If you hold the back edge of the plastic when you're putting the clip lock system in, it will knife the film. So you can push the toe in like that and then just clip it along like so. So you're keeping that plastic there just level with the bottom of the base, the timber base. So then you start another piece, same thing. So I'll show you again. So you've got the toe of the insert, so that sits joined up to the other piece. Push that into there like so. Give it a push up in that direction, like that. Again, don't hold the back edge of the plastic because it will knife the film. It's a folding action. So now this side's done, we'll go over to the other side and we'll roll a batten around the cover. On this particular greenhouse being 6 metres long, each batten is 2.4 metres. Now you want to centralise those battens. There's one in the very centre of the greenhouse and one at each end. So if you have a look, you can see you've got roughly 200 over where the actual hoop is. And so that's where the first batten starts, and each batten moves one at each end to end up with a 3. So we'll roll a batten into this and apply a Tech screw to it. We get the edge of the plastic onto the corner of the 50mm wide part of the batten, get it nice and flush and just turn it around so it sits neatly. A 55mm wood tech, which will automatically drill through the plastic, through the wood and into the base, the timber base. So you just need to put 3 in to start off with. So you're just going to stretch the cover down as we go along. So that's temporarily fixed in position with a good tension on it so it's nice and straight. So if you have an issue with it not being tight enough, you can release those screws and maybe do another wind around it and then push it back down again. Right, so with the second batten, Shane's going to cut the plastic back so we can get a nice straight edge on to roll it round. If I go to the end of the greenhouse, I've got a little bit extra plastic there. Just give it a bit of a prune back so I'm not having to roll all that bit up. Going closer to the structure. Again, so putting the plastic, the same with the 50mm of the batten, and just roll it around. So there's 3 on each batten, now we need to put 5 in each batten. So now we're going to put the end walls in. So the first thing we do is we need to cut the clip lock insert to suit the either side of the door opening. So I just put it into the end there, like so. Hold it with my finger, mark it, and cut it off with an angle grinder. And do the same on the other side. We cut some of these plastic C-clip, which are 3 meters long. We cut them into short lengths, like 100, 150mm long, and we use them as clamps to hold the plastic in place, particularly when we're hanging the end walls. It just makes it so much easier. So what we're doing is we hang the plastic, get it nice and straight, clip off the bottom, and then pull everything up over the hoop so that the end wall plastic goes underneath the roof cover, and we have to have somebody on the inside pulling on that plastic, keep it nice and tight while we cap it off. So one of the things we do when we're hanging the plastic, the easiest thing to find the centre, make sure you've got it hanging over 500 roughly each side. I just mark it with a marker pen, and then when I go to climb up there, I know that's the centre, and then I don't need to adjust it either way. Fold the roof cover back, taking that mark, centre, put it up there, just have it about 50mm above the top of the hoop, and put the clip lock in it, just to hold it in place. If you fold the plastic back, it gets out of your way, and you can set this up properly so it sits nice and straight. You can see how nice and straight the plastic film is. One of these clamps, just put it over there, and it'll just hold it there nicely. And you do that on both sides, and we can clip the bottom in. So it just sits nice, and you can see it's nice and straight. So just tap the toe up. With the end wall plastic, come along with scissors. Make sure you've just got only the end wall plastic. You put the scissors in there, you cut it out to the end of it. Now this helps when you're going to stretch the end wall and fold it all around the corners. So you tuck the plastic in, again. So I've got that a nice cut there, just fold it all the way around into there, so then the person who's on the inside can just pull that round and pull it up tight. You just put the scissors in there and just cut right out to the end. Sometimes I will cut the excess plastic off, leave about 200 on. You just fold that into there. So you repeat this for the other side as well. Okay, so now we've got the end wall plastic on, we're going to put the split PVC capping over the end hoop. So you can see on the end that has got a rake cut back on it. It just stops the sharp edges from bruising the plastic. So you always start at this core on the bottom and work your way over the greenhouse. So in order to get this over the greenhouse, I find the easiest thing to do is to turn it upside down and just gently slide it over the greenhouse to the position roughly where you want it, and then you can just twist it around and it'll come on to the greenhouse where you want it to be. Using these 20mm tacks, we're going to screw them through the capping, which has got pre-drilled holes in it. We'll screw through there and into the hoop on the very end wall. Pull the plastic tight along the length of the greenhouse, put the capping over the top of it, and apply a tack screw. So now we have the short piece of split PVC capping, again with the splayed end on it. So set into place, just going to sit there, mark the edge. So as you can see, Shane's trimming off the plastic on the inside as well. Okay, so now we're going to cut out for the door. So the easiest thing to do is you put your scissors in the centre of the door opening and just cut up and then back down, cut it right out at the bottom. And then when you get up to here, you come up and go out to each corner and be about 20 or 30 mil away from each corner, just to start off with. And now we'll put the C capping around the door opening. So we're just going to need to cut the C capping for where this plastic is. It goes over, pushes over the vent, that will eventually cut out. So you come about 30 mil below where the bolt is there, and 30 mil above. So you're roughly around 100 millimeters long. So you need 2 of them. We're going to have a cut in here. We need to be able to get the vent to above the door vent to open. We just cut. Open the vent out, just push those pieces around. Just around like so. The battens are hanging over each end, so we just use an ordinary just hand saw and we just cut the batten off flush with the end of the greenhouse. And you can cut you don't need to cut the plastic because the hand saw will do that for you, just nice and neatly. Done. Okay, so now we're going to put the roof vent in. Again, you have to cut out the hole for the roof vent, so we're going to start in the centre between where the actual vent opening is. I'm going to cut right along the centre to within 200 of the end and go out to each corner. Along the length to within 200 of the end. To each corner. Pull the plastic down over there like so and just trim it off nice and neatly. Okay, so we've cut this C-clip in between where the actual hinges are. So at this end is around 20 mil and that end's about 30. So that's the length you want to cut so we can get it in between those hinges. Cut round the tab that holds the hinge. Again, down this end here, again put a bit of C-cap over that area there and just cut that off nice and neatly. So that's the vent opening now in place. So with the 2 10mm bolts, so just tighten up just up to finger tight, just allows the vent to open and close. Okay, so now all those 4 bolts have been done up on the vent. We can now open the vent, so you just pull the vent towards the door and it will stand up on its own. Just stand there like so. And to pull it back down, you just pull it in the opposite direction and it will just sit down. So we just pop the door back in, put the hinge back in on the bottom, and then screw it back to the base. Okay, so we've covered the door, and now we've put the handle in through the hole in the door. You can see that there's frame guard tape on the outside. The threads come through this side, and we put a double lock nut on that so it stops it from moving. So it locks it up so it enables it to move as one, not as two. And it sits just like so. To stop that from dropping down, we apply a 20mm screw to hit nice and level. Just back it off. So when you're opening it, it just drops onto there. And we'll do one on the outside as well. So it sits there nicely. So now on the inside, and we're going to use the last of the 45mm Tech screws to put an opening to hold that end vent opening. So what we do is just pull it to as far as it'll open and just put a screw in. So you put the screw, so then the back end of the Tech screw hits up onto the inside of the other screw, and that gives it some rigidity when you're trying to hold it open.